so freaking bad. Wrestle me.
Welcome, everybody, to Juice Pro Wrestling Podcast, episode 168. Perch for success. Perch for success with one of the most successful up-and-coming young referees in the motherfucking independent wrestling game today, Dan Perch. How the hell are you, brother? And welcome to the Juice Hole.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure, and what an intro there, Juice. I couldn't be happier to be on with you guys, and after an intro like that, man, I'm hyped.
He's ready to get spanked. Yeah, let's get it on.
Now you're talking.
Let's just take it from, where we were at a week ago at Warrior Wrestling, brother. I've been to so many of them now, and this was probably by far one of my favorites because I got to observe the show through a set of different eyes, per se, being backstage and watching the entire show with the boys, like just sitting there chilling, drinking my Stone Colds and enjoying every minute, being a fly on the wall, getting to hear all the matches, being plotted out and all this stuff. And the positivity back there is insane. It's pretty awesome too when the next day you go on Twitter and you got Meltzer tweeting about Warrior Wrestling, like
huge,
whether you like him or not, dude, that's pretty huge stuff. So shout out to Warrior for that. But dude, such a great work environment there. And I just kind of like to know, what were your thoughts on that show, brother?
Oh man, you put it pretty.
Other than that sweaty ass gym.
No, you put it pretty well right there. It was a banger of a show, and in not so many words. It stayed strong every time and the whole time through. That was probably the fifth or the sixth time I've been at Warrior. Started up with the Stadium Series back last fall, so this was the third one of this year, and that night was awesome. There's always something in the air. And like you alluded to, Juice, you could feel that positive or that energy, that spirit, that passion, the kind of intangibles that are out there. Whether you're a stranger inside a locker room amongst your peers like that, or if you know a few people and have a few friends or pals that you can turn to. Lucky enough, I've been able to make some good graces with some people and mentors that I have in that locker room. From different walks of life, different states, different promotions, right there at Warrior as well. So when I'm amongst that kind of an energy, that kind of, spirits in the air, I'm able to take in so much, a lot of good knowledge, a lot of good wisdom, a lot of good camaraderie with everybody throughout the day. It's an entire day of learning and responsibility, and handling that responsibility and having fun at the end of the day.
Oh, for sure, dude. And I got to tell you this because I'm going to just come out and say, dude, so I'm sitting at my own little table right there next to Kylie and Thunder Rosa and Isaiah. And I'm watching you and Marco and was it Jacob Crowley? Is that his name?
Jackson
Crowley. Damn it. I fucking botched it.
You're so stupid.
Hey, that's my shtick, right? You shut the fuck up and go back to your little hole and don't talk to anybody. Shy piece of shit.
But he's handsome.
Anyways, like I was saying, he's handsome. Yeah,
but he's handsome.
Whatever. I'll give him that. Still a piece of shoe.
Chiseled jaw.
So I'm watching you guys go over the match. But brother, I got to tell you, I'm sitting over there kind of popping for you because just your reaction when two dudes are going over their match and you're standing there looking and you're like you would in the ring, like doing the facial reactions and stuff like the ooh, and they're like, I was kind of losing my shit. I'm sitting there with my beer, my Stone Cold, probably my second one. So I had a nice little buzz going and I'm just sitting there laughing. I'm like, this is fucking awesome.
Oh man, what better way to enjoy a show in any capacity than with a pack of El Segundas. Some of those Stone Cold. I don't drink anymore, but when I did, those were my favorites, and especially for wrestling shows. So I can understand the good vibe you were in for that day, and enjoying it on all cylinders.
Oh
yeah, it was awesome. When it comes to to matches on the card. What was it that night? 12 matches or so, and we had 4 referees. So we get match assignments, and as soon as I know what matches I have, I like to touch base with the guys, and that really comes down to essentially me as a referee, letting them know, hey, I've got your contest. I'm your referee. These are the rules of the night. And the typical listen to me and obey my commands. And if there's anything more, anything less, if the guys need anything, we'll go over. But more so, it's a moment to connect on a personal level, whether it's the energy between or the trust between competitors, especially from a referee standpoint. To not that you earn trust, but if you can let the guys in there know that, hey, you're in good hands, because it's my job, number one, to take care of those 2 wrestlers, or 4 wrestlers, or the safety. So yeah, in that moment, that's a real glimpse through a keyhole into the moment of nothing but realness and truth and trust being laid out there. So that's a cool moment. It gives me chills just thinking about it on a normal setting.
Hell yeah, dude. And I love, like I said, your expressions, even just back there. We're not even out in the ring yet, and you're just like fucking giving it. I'm like, man, this is fucking awesome, dude. And you're super. I think the reason I kind of gravitated towards you, you're super positive guy, dude. Like, you're happy as shit all the time, no matter what's going on. Like, which is a hard thing for most people in society to do these days. Let's face it. Let's just be honest about it. But dude, you got a great outlook on things. I like the way you work in the ring, and dude, you've worked for and I think it's helped you kind of work for all these different promotions. I mean, you're doing Freelance, you're doing AAW, you're doing Mondo Lucha. Just give us a quick rundown of some of the promotions that you've been able to apply your trade at, man.
Yeah, and you named a few. Mondo Lucha right here in Milwaukee is one of the big companies that I had a chance to work at Turner Hall right in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
For. And that
Shout
was
out to Jay.
Jay Mondo, baby. Just great people all around, the entire team. They put me in a good position, and it was cool to embrace Milwaukee as a whole. Been able to tour up and down the entire state of Wisconsin, just about every promotion, I'm sure, from Schwagel's promotion at ACW over to Dysfunction's promotion right there in West Allis, ICW Milwaukee. That's a good heart of West Allis pro wrestling. Some death matches, big death match tournament coming up with the Insane 8.
I love the Insane 8. I never was able to go to one when I was in Milwaukee, but oh my God, I was always like, I'm going to the next one. I'm going to the next one. Next one came, something was already coming up, and yeah, damn it. I missed my choice.
Be right up your alley. Just a good time.
I love it. I love deathmatch wrestling.
And then I got my start with Brew City Wrestling right in West Allis. Was at the Knights of Columbus forever. The historic Knights of Columbus in West Allis. Get your tickets now. No longer there. No longer there. But when it was bumping with Carmine running shows at NW. A lot of Wisconsin promotions, then branching out to, say, Illinois. AAW, I've gotten to earn my spot as a referee there, at learning the ways with everybody. I actually had my debut at Turner Hall with AAW, of all poetic moments. It was cool. One of the matches in particular was Airwolf against Kurt Stallion at Turner Hall, and I remember thinking to myself in a seat, watching Ring of Honor a few years before, and watching like a Jay White against Adam Cole. But to me now, Airwolf against Kurt Stallion right in front of me was the coolest moment I had ever experienced in pro wrestling to that day. Some good venues there. Freelance Underground, a couple of great companies. Started setting up the ring at Logan Square. That was a good way to learn Chicago amongst all those guys, and really build some friendships with the other students of the area. a student like myself, meeting other students from a different state, I realized, hey, this is the same thing everywhere. Like-minded individuals in it for the same kind of thing. So, found a piece with companies like Freelance Underground, AAW, all those companies running at Logan Square, and still love working for them. Warrior Wrestling, as we said before, awesome company. Black Label Pro in Indiana. It's a very cool,
Right.
very cool time every time. They got the opportunity to work a few times over the past year, just because they've only had a few shows. But
Yeah.
by this podcast, they'll be dropping. BLP will be having a show in just a few days in Chi-Town, baby.
Yeah.
Going to be a great time.
3 cups stuffed.
Yeah. 3 of them this time.
I know. Last time it was 2. G-Raver
Yeah.
almost died.
I know. That's why they had to make 3 of them. They, gotta have one more cup
Maybe if
for
we
all
had
that
more
blood.
cups. Yeah, if we got more cups, the boys might be a little safer. I don't know.
Well, who knows?
Let's talk wrestling. Speaking of deathmatch, though, Perch, you've done a lot of GCW shit too, man. What's it like working there?
And GCW, and again, speaking of big weekend coming up in Chi-Town, that's the crew of referees who I really look up to on the independent wrestling circuit. They've got a good core of people there, as well as they bring in talent for referees from all across the U.S. whenever they travel. I was blessed enough to have an opportunity to be with them in Florida for the big collective weekend, which was awesome. Big Grateful Dead fan, so I like the idea of hopping on the bus. And right now, GCW and independent professional wrestling is the bus. And anytime you can hop on to get some wisdom, knowledge, you're going to come out a better person than you were going in, if that's what you look for. And that's what I'm all about. So, GCW is as wild as it gets. The craziest matches. Every show is different. Every match stipulation is different. Whether I'm running around and back, helping people out, getting people to gorilla position, or grabbing waters for performers, or Alex Colon coming through the back after a wild championship match on his show. He main evented, won. Yeah. Here I am with the plastic wrap and the peroxide and the waters.
Yeah, put some peroxide like a fucking super soaker. Just stand still,
right?
And saying, I'm not sure how to do this, but I'm here, and walk me through it. So you never know what you're gonna get at those shows, and I absolutely love it. The first opportunity was during that Bloodsport show, and it was Schlack against Super Beast.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Insane.
Yeah, it was.
About the most crazy atmosphere and blood and warfare and
then Perch in the middle.
Yep.
And then I come running out in the seat to rip old Schlack off a Super Beast in the midst of the whole.
Believable.
Oh yeah. I could see you doing it.
Kayfabe's still alive.
Yeah, exactly. Getting in there like a crowbar, wedge them apart.
You should have brought a crowbar out. Fuck it. GC Dub. Do what I want.
Right, GC Dub. Oh yeah. That would have been par for the course in that match though.
Hey, right.
That'd have been perfect.
How's Schlack backstage? I mean, he's a cool dude. Bodie and I have played shows with him in the music scene, but I've never seen him in the professional wrestling capacity.
The cool thing about independent wrestling and in the wrestling world is working so many different shows. I've been lucky enough to have an opportunity to work with Schlack a handful of times with ICW Milwaukee. So I actually had a little bit of rapport with him. He was there at Crusher Fest with Nick Gage when the Crusher statue got unveiled in South Milwaukee. We'll never forget Schlack and Nick being there. And then last Insane 8, we had a great time. And afterwards, we were grabbing food at the venue. And I was actually found myself cooking burgers. Hey, hop on. And who gets done and walks out is Schlack. So here I was cooking some burgers for Schlack and just having a great old time.
It's like, it's not raw enough, damn it.
And I'm one for, I was taught to buy a beer for a veteran and pick their brain, pick their mind. So in this case, it was make a burger for Schlack and pick his brain a little bit.
Right, just leave some of the scar tissue to the side. Don't pick that part. Right? There's a lot of that shit.
Couldn't have been a nicer guy.
Hell yeah. Who are some of the guys like referees? Let's kind of go back into, because you're a young cat, man. How long you been doing the ref thing? A few years now?
Yeah, so I started in January. I started training in January of 2018. So
yeah, you're a tenderoni in the sport, man. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm a young pup, very young lion.
Call me doggy. Woof. Who did you get? Where did you start doing this shit at? What got you motivated? I mean, obviously, wrestling fan for quite some time. Like, where I like to people being different ages and stuff. I like to see where like the generations start with their fandom and all that. Where'd all that shit start for you? Yeah,
so I loved wrestling growing up. Born in '91, so around 97.
Make a motherfucker feel old. I think I was jerking off in 91. What the fuck?
Anyway. So 97, 98, we were like in learning what the channel return button was between Monday Night Raw and Monday Night Nitro.
Remember that was always a thing. Like, how do I get it to where I can just hit that one button and it'll go right back to the other channel because I have to keep doing this.
Last. That was the button on it. Last. Yep.
Yep. I don't think it even exists anymore, but it did.
No. I don't even think real cable TV exists anymore. I don't know. It's all an illusion.
And at that point, my mom and dad liked wrestling growing up. It was always around. They weren't huge into it, but their parents or their grandparents would watch it. Anything they could get away with, watching wrestling. So they knew the AWA guys and stuff. Just
nice.
for wrestling being wrestling. In Crusher Country, I was well aware of as a kid, in the roots. So on WCW, it had a lot of guys that my parents knew. Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Roddy Piper, one of my mom's faves. And, I got to know those guys because my parents knew them. And then you flip over to a Monday Night Raw, and that's what the guys on the school bus are talking about, is how The Rock is, smash talking someone, or Stone Cold is smashing beers. It was just, and I remember the one image in a magazine, seeing The Undertaker lifting the Big Boss Man up in that Hell in a Cell, and just seeing that still frame in a PWI magazine, an old After pic or a George picture. It stuck with me forever and kind of, sparked that love and that passion, from the late 90s on.
Well, now was that passion, was this some that you wanted to get into reffing? Are you looking to, because you're a damn fine ref, dude. Do you want to wrestle? Do you want to get in there and fucking, grease another boy up and fucking get down to your skimpies and fuck shit up?
Yeah. So what was it? 2018. I mentioned I went to a Brew City Wrestling show in West Dallas, Wisconsin. Knights of Columbus. Great time. And saw a match, and that was a point in my life where I was ready to make a decision and realize, I'm at a point in my life where I can contribute and give back and do what I can to help this business in any small way that I can, and try to, in turn, fulfill, like we all have. That's why we're all here. Fulfill our passion, for this business. Any outlet to do what we do and do what we love, and to take pride in it. I remember vividly seeing the guy tightening the cables on the bottom of the ring that night, and saying, I want to be that guy, because that guy is already in the business. He's made that step that I've never made. He's
got some pretty low aspirations, Perch. Let's be honest. I'm just joking.
It was literally on the ground aspirations. And,
aspirations.
Next thing you know, I started training that week with the Beer City Bruiser.
Nice.
Right there in South Milwaukee and Cudahy area. So I started training, a couple months later, I was able to have an opportunity to debut. And my thought was, I don't know what I'm going to be in the wrestling world. In the picture of a heavyweight championship match, two wrestlers going at it, realistically, I don't see myself as one of those two wrestlers. But to create that image and to create that many, that much buzz and that many fans, there's a lot more people to that picture that you maybe not seeing, or maybe someone like a ref who's in that corner. So I wanted an opportunity to find something that I can do in the business that isn't necessarily a wrestler. So, that being said, I figured, hey, let me start out as a ref. I've heard stories of wrestlers growing up. It's an old school thing. You start out as a ref, give the kid a shirt,
Yeah. I think Fonzie got started that way. Hey, Daddy.
Yeah, Daddy.
Yeah. So I love to harken back to old school roots, and everything I've learned has been through old school roots, and harkening back to learning from our history, because we're going to learn, history repeats itself, and we can learn to try and make the best of the future, especially in a business like pro wrestling. It's been there long before us, going to be around long after us. So just doing our part. And I figured, let me be a ref and let me see how it goes and learn the language of pro wrestling through that. And fell in love with it. Turned out, was good. And by the trainer standpoint, good enough to debut. And I had my first match in April of 2018. And Greg the Hammer main evented that night. It was great.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
I got the call to, hey, Perch, you're doing the main. Oh, sweet.
Greg the Hammer,
Yeah, I'll never forget it.
What was the nerves like doing that? You have to take a huge shit or what?
No.
Like, oh, hold up, guys.
Yeah, I'm done.
They'll never forgive me if I poop in Gorilla.
That's how you do it in a ring.
No, I just sweat through about 7 shirts throughout the entire.
Because it's nerve wracking, dude. Like I did for an indie show a couple of years ago. I did like just a guest ring announcer spot, and I'm usually pretty calm, cool, and cocky and collected. But there was like a gym full of like young students. I don't know. There was Stratton was there. It was pretty decent, a couple hundred people or something like that. And here I am making my debut, and they botched my damn music. I was coming out to Goodbye Horses, and they fucked it up. But I got out there, dude, and I just did my thing. But afterwards, it's like the same thing as you learn, like me and Bodie doing the music thing. You're only as good as your last show. And that's why I always try to get footage so I can watch spots maybe that I fucked up on, so I know in practice vocally where I need to be and do things. It's like much the same with wrestling. And I think if I ever broke into actually performance wise in the business, maybe announcing would be something that I would want to do at first. I think I have the personality and maybe the pipes to do it in like a different way. But dude, I'll be honest with you, man. I was back there. I was humbled enough to be like, man, I love how you say you respect the old school and all that. So if we're talking old school, how sacred those locker rooms were back in the day. Like it's not like it is nowadays, where everybody is like pretty much welcomed for the most part with open arms. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but what I'm saying is it used to be more of an exclusive club syndicate, if you will. And for them guys to like take me in and be like, hey, this is, Juice Pro Wrestling, this is what he does, blah, blah. Everybody's super cool. And then like that moment before you walk out the curtain, I'm like, oh shit, is this really going to happen? Like this guy's looking at me. He's like cueing me. He's like, go out the curtain right now. I'm like, hold up. I don't hear my fucking music, man. Like, come on. I'm entertaining, man. I could do this shit. But dude, I just remember the nerves kind of being like, even for something as simple as that, what do you do? How do you act? Especially like in your position as a referee. I mean, you don't necessarily want to take away from the boys in the match. Your name's not Dangerous Danny Davis. You ain't gonna fucking or Nick Patrick. You ain't gonna take this turn and fucking take it to a different level, brother. But yeah, man, the nerve thing is just it hit me real fucking hard, man. So I was just wondering kind of how that would feel with you, dude. Like, and what about like, okay, so your debut match, but what about like your first death match? how were your nerves doing that? Was that something you were kind of like on the fence about? Maybe you're open to working those things, but you don't know how that's going to go, you know?
Yeah, it's what I found is so important, and especially for myself. Maybe everyone's this way, but certainly something I like to do is establish a little bit of a base, whether that comes to a company or people I'm working with. In this case, I like to have a base in the Wisconsin area with companies that I can learn from and feel at home with. That's why I started. So a company like ICW Milwaukee was a spot where I can kind of come in and work as I please. And I can also study how people are doing death matches. I understand that I'm not going to change the world in a day, but I'm going to take that first day and not be in it and watch and see how it goes on and form some questions. And the next time I'll ask a few questions and just kind of repeat that until the time is right. And I'm able to dip my foot in. So that's the way I like to do it. Granted, as a referee, our straw gets pulled every once in a while, and you're not going to see something coming, and you're going to be asked to do something. So
Jeremy knows all about that when he got embarrassed and had that fucking beer poured down his ass by la paca, la paca, la paca, la paca. He's gonna shoot me for fucking saying that shit again. I'll never let him live it down.
But
or the ref brand.
Yeah, for the ref brand, baby. But yeah, it comes down to trying to learn. So, death matches. I remember one of my first ones was a main event at ICW with Oren Veit, who was
dude's not an animal in that ring.
Yeah, and he was the man at ICW when I was getting in. So I was able to at least look up to him and respect him from a standpoint of this man has got a lot of respect in this building. I don't know what deathmatch wrestling is right now, but I want to learn. And, I've got the respect for him in the same building where I'm working regular matches and me and other students are working normal matches. And well, he's, main event in the death matches. So I had a good respect for him as someone that I could, ask questions to. And it was him against Eddie Only one night at La Pica Lounge.
La pica, la pica, la pica.
Yep. And before the show started, Oren came up to me and very respectfully asked if I would mind, doing his match that night. And the way he asked was awesome. It was a moment where he respected me enough to come up and genuinely say, "Hey, Perch, this is an opportunity that I'm looking for a few things. Given everything, I would really trust you in this situation." So, for him respectfully doing that, he allowed me to, tell him how I felt as well, at the time where I was a little bit unsure.
Right.
I was a bit uneasy in feeling that, hey, me being in a situation like that, just understand, I give everything I've got into a match every single time. And it's all real and it's genuine. That being said, a situation like this, I don't know how that real and genuine is going to come across and look and be. So, I'll respectfully say yes, because you asked me. And I thank you for it. So just understand that I may not be the greatest, but I'll be there to keep you guys safe. But by him giving me that moment to at least tell him where I'm coming from, that meant a lot to me. And in understanding the respect that is there, and the the similarities that there are between regular wrestling and deathmatch wrestling. At some points they're different, but otherwise, when it comes down to people, we're all the same. So, that was a big learning lesson, and I really enjoyed it. I put the old bandana on, got all psyched up, hiked up, jacked up, sprayed the face with some water, and I was amped. I was jacked for that match because I needed to bring myself to a different place.
That Derek Martha bandana on. Face,
No.
I know you're watching and listening.
You got
shit on you.
You got to get that little tail going on in the back too, man.
Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yeah. Why don't you curl that bastard like Razor Ramon?
No, I did the bandana right over the face. It was because there was
oh yeah, you won't be
you have
breathing
to.
in that glass and that mercury.
that was
You don't like
that was
some mercury.
before it was normal to wear a mask. I was out there in the middle of the ring wearing a good old fashioned flag of Texas bandana. Figured
Oh man, looking like it's a part of LAX or some shit.
got old Terry Funk that night.
Hanging out with Manser.
Manser. Who's Perch? I'm curious to know because you work with so many of these guys and like a lot of the top indie talent. I'm sure you're cool with everybody, so I'm not digging for dirt. But who would you say is like some of your favorite people to hang out with, like talent, when you're at shows doing this shit, man?
Yeah, there's a lot of good people all around. I remember the first vet that I ever, the first guy who's been in the business, and oh my God, that's a guy. He's headlining some shows around here, and he's kind of the man. And I walked up, bought him a beer at the bar, and we've been friends ever since. That was Joey Jet Avalon, right here in Wisconsin. He's kind of the man in Wisconsin. He's getting a good break too now, working some OVW and around the area and Midwest. He was a great mentor when it comes to the state and learning what independent wrestling really is. Another person cool to hang with is Sierra.
Okay.
She's like a big mentor of mine, an older sister in the business, from the same trainer, Beer City Bruiser. And it kind of goes to show that when we're on shows, it's like having family there. And being an older sibling that she is, anything she can do paves the way. So, I love being on a show with her anytime. It's always a great time. And someone who I see at different states, which is cool. With AAW is always a fun time. You get so many different, eclectic characters and
Right.
wild, so many different people. SGC were some great guys to build a rapport with and understand wrestling. They were guys where I would talk to, buy them a case of beer, and
Oh, if you buy any of these guys a case of beer, they'll do some talking. I don't know if people know this or not, but this is a little known common fact where I come from. Alcohol is truth serum.
Yeah, trained by the Beer City Bruiser. It runs true. You buy him a beer and you you pick their brain. You hang, keep your mouth closed, your eyes and ears open.
Yep, that's the first 2 weeks of training.
Yeah,
Sit there with a dirty 30 and just go to town and pick his brain.
We're doing a 30 what? Some PBR?
Dude, the
Milwaukee's
beast.
best.
Yeah, you're the beast, man. The beast from the east. Yep.
It's such horrible beer.
Dude, it is, but fuck it, it's cheap.
Right? It's like the beer pong fucking beer, man.
It is, dude. This is the beers that you throw out into the crowd on stage.
Yeah, like $13 fucking
Yep.
30 rack.
We drink the good shit. I'll throw out the 211 to the crowd.
You're such a gentleman at times, Bodie. That's why
I know.
love you.
It is.
Hey, Perch, have you had any crazy fucking moments like in the ring, maybe with like fans or anything where it's gotten like a little too much? Or has that not hit you yet? We're like, because you get some of these fans that don't know how to take the fucking show that's going on and
Still real to me, dude.
yeah.
man, there was one time in particular. I work a lot of fair shows and fair circuits, and couple time fair shows over the past couple of years. This year it's changed a little bit, and I love anytime I can work the fair shows, but there's a few more in the city that I'm working. But over the past couple of years, we've been to just about every fair in Wisconsin, and there was one in particular with the.
Everyone tells it's gonna be good.
It was Manny and Chuco, part of the Sociedad de Boricuas. And Chuco,
Los Boricuas.
and they were getting some heat up in Door County.
Oh yeah, they'll get heat up there for sure. That's cheap heat.
They will.
Door County. Oh my god. Wine country.
and all of a sudden, the fans are going nuts, and one guy stands up, and it's just lawn chairs, and the rings, set up on ass. And this old man starts walking up to the ring, and now he's kind of like in no man's land, like in between the fans and the ring.
Oh.
and he was looking right at Manny and Chuko, and he starts undoing his belt. gonna give him the what for?
Cue Devo. Stratton, whip it good. Only for 2 seconds, though. We won't get
No.
Oh, it was, I don't know if he was looking to take off his pants, or if he was hot, or if he was taking off his belt, or what. But he didn't look happy. And next thing you know, the cops swarmed in on him and kindly escorted them out. And we were like, holy smokes, what just went on? And the legend goes to this day that, some guy was taking off his pants. And who knows what's going on? But it was a man who was approaching the ring, and Lord knows what's about to happen. God forbid they get in that ring, and maybe they're just feeling it a little extra that night, and they mean well. Maybe not the case. So chances are it's all good, but we always have to be ready.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys. It's like I don't love it because people have no.
Yeah, you do.
I do. I really do. If you're gonna run in the ring and we've seen it on like AEW here recently. If you're gonna run in the ring, realize the following is a public service announcement from Juice Pro Wrestling. If you're gonna run your ass into the ring, prepare your ass to get kicked and handled properly, because that's the way it should be done, man. Come on. Like if you go to a circus and you're like, you don't like the elephant show or something, you're going to do something stupid and you run in there, you should be trampled by elephants. Raging elephants from Africa, as the warrior would say. I don't know, man. It's fun to see that shit entertainment wise, but at the same time, I fucking hate it. It's like, who do you guys think you are? You're going to jump the rails or do whatever, and you're going to get handled, and you're going to find out how real the business really is.
Yeah. What are you going to do when you get in there? Like, did you plan this out? Shit, I'm going to go in there and beat some ass.
Yeah. Outrageous. Whatever's going through the mind to hit that peak, it's not good. Not good for the wrestlers. No good can come of it.
Not good for the fan. Not good for the fans either. If Perch is in there, give him a dynamite elbow.
Right. Kick his fucking skull in a little bit.
Right. Boot in the leg.
Have to go see the dentist.
Yeah, I'm sure whoever was in the ring would knock the fan down long enough for me to drop elbow from the top rope.
or at least get Schlack on the radio, like, yo, Schlack, we got to fucking, or like old ECW days, called 911, he'll handle it.
Yes.
Big Vinny here from GCW.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Hell yeah. What was some of the shit that you were watching though back in the day? Because you kind of alluded to earlier that with your parents and stuff, you grew up with appreciating like the WCW and all that. Were you an ECW kid as well? Like, did you find that, or was it a little bit later?
So ECW was like probably in the early 2000 range. You get friends with a DVD of it. VHS, not necessarily the case. I would record VHS for Raw and Nitro episodes, but I didn't know anyone who had ECW. So it was very much a secretive. So I knew there was more out there, but I had no way of getting it or ideas of how to. So it was really just WWF at the time, and then E and WCW. So as soon as they mixed for the invasion, talking to the happiest guy in the world right here.
Yeah, it should have been like the biggest angle, the biggest work, pay-per-view ever.
Should have.
Oh, but to me, it was.
Oh, of course.
It just still with the big old V and Vince and Shane on the side.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so cool. I didn't know what I was missing out on. Sure, there were guys who we didn't see, but it was like they're coming. Maybe they're coming, and eventually, the guys did in Milwaukee.
They came.
Whoa!
Oh yeah,
it was pretty sweet. but RVD became a star, got to know who he was. The angle with him and Austin, talk about some of the best
awesome
absolute promos and everything, just building up RVD going to the top because he just wants to knock him down.
Whatever.
Whatever. What's up, Deborah?
I remember I used to work at KB Toy Store around then, like early 2000s, and fucking they had a WWE toy mic, and there was like different, I think Undertaker, Mysterio, and RVD were the voices you could hit on the button, and then one was like WWE Raw or whatever, but RVD's was like whatever. Fucking man, this dude, if they had to make anybody else look like fucking Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, he was the fucking one. Undertaker's like, rest in peace.
Yeah. Yep. Or the old little Titantron thing with the two metal bars across.
Yeah, and I still have some of those figures right over here, man, in the case. You sit the figures on there and they play their music or like say some shit.
It still crackles once in a while when you walk past it in the basement.
Were you a big collector of any of this stuff?
Oh God, yeah. That was like all the hobby fairs and stuff in school were just excuses for me to bring my wrestling ring and wrestling action figures and tons of them.
Nice.
You still have them?
Oh, still have them. Tons and tons.
What was some of the shit you were collecting?
Oh, just every package, especially the ones that had weapons in them. Their chairs, crates. For me, it was more so, who do I want to play with? If I had two figures right in front of me right now, I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't be playing around.
I still play with them, dude. I don't give a fuck. Hey, I think we could all come together and say if we had a fucking box of figures in front of us and the world wasn't watching us right now, we'd be like,
fuck it. We'll put it on the podcast.
Yeah.
We'll videotape that shit, put it on the podcast, do more content.
Yes.
Suplex the shit out of some plastic figures.
Right? You can just watch us play with action figures for a fucking hour. I think we just got a new segment.
Dude, yep.
A year and a half ago at a show, and I love doing this at shows, perusing, especially when they have the vendors and it's a big stuff. I got a Randy Orton was in a nasty Cloverleaf by Lance Storm that I put him in. So that was my last good action figure playing. It was no getting out.
A good gimmick, stupid thing, because wrestling could be fun. We all know it could be fun. What if somebody came in there and you had to ref a match, but it was people in there and they're with their action figures?
Yes,
fucking doing a match, but you're actually reffing this match. It'd be so ridiculous. Oh man,
I'd have to bring the little blue ref guy with the closed hand and the open hand.
Oh yeah,
play my role by proxy.
Who's your favorite ref of all time?
Oh, favorite ref of all time, Tommy Young.
Ooh, okay.
Yep. Hands down. Being exposed to him, he was someone who I had seen without knowing who he is, just in clips. And as soon as I started to venture into the referee role, deep dive into studying it and watching, and watching good old Tommy Young, the matches that he had. So he's my fave, as well as Dick Worley around that same time.
Yeah,
the East Coast.
Yeah, I think they did the Crockett promotions too. All the Crockett promotions and AWA, I think.
Yeah, yep, all around. And it was funny because that, anytime I go back and watch wrestling for whether it's studying purposes or passing time, it's going to be that golden 89 WCW Crockett era and right.
Yeah.
And
Crockett Cup, man, that was my favorite.
Good, and you get the best refs at that time too.
Yes.
And Mark Curtis, and just lots of good guys that I absolutely love and study the art of referee. Let alone the Earl Hebner growing up was the man. Him and Triple H going at it.
Was it Earl or was it Dave? The world may never know.
Oh, I know. And then Mike Chioda was the man.
Yeah.
John Cone right now and over the past several years is the man at WWE. Paul Turner right now, hands down, the best going right now. Just for the way he handles his business. Absolutely love Paulie T. Just great guys all around from all different eras. I love it. Love different referees.
What's your favorite? What would you say is your favorite era of professional wrestling?
Ooh, with wrestling, watching it through, the eyes of a student or as a fan, as a fan and nostalgic, it's always going to be that, early 2000s, whether it's 2000 to 02, 03, some 99 in there too. When Triple H is wearing those tucked in shirts into his blue jeans and he's got no business doing it.
I know. In one tuck, motherfucker. Damn.
Taking pictures in front of Hummers.
Yeah. Right. Jean Paul, fuck you.
God, I hate him so much that he became my favorite of all time.
Yes. The cerebral assassin. I used to have that Triple H jersey, the black with the silver short sleeves, dude. Oh, it was the shit.
Yeah, it's so sick.
Hell yeah, it was.
Oh, so if I were to just go back and talk to my buddies and the couple of close friends who I have, from childhood that I'm still family friends, and anytime we go back, we're just watching that, flip that on the tube, and that's what I'm going back to. It's what I'm diving into. We're gonna have so much fun, and seeing The Rock in his prime too. I mean, oh my God, just great. Love that era. But like I was saying, for studying and stuff. Let me go back to that nice, Crockett NWA, 80s territory. Where I really, really give a deep dive.
Big hairy motherfuckers. Yes.
I absolutely love it. That's pro wrestling for pro wrestling. So different
Yes.
than WWE at the time, but under the same umbrella. Just like, deathmatch wrestling is one thing and standard wrestling. Well, you have the Crockett and the NWA. Then you have 2001, 2002 WWF. They're all so different, but I love it. Any of those guys.
It's crazy to think, like, what is this era? And this is going to kind of lead into my next question for you. The last, I'd say, 5 years on of professional wrestling, which we've seen kind of like a renaissance. The independents have become the territories once again, and it's making the higher ups, these larger promotions, have to adjust. We know one promotion that isn't adjusting so well, and it ends with an E. Ooh. But it's going to be crazy to look back, say maybe, and we don't know what's going to happen yet, but like, we'll go as far as like 10 years, 20 years. Are we going to look at this situation that's going on now like we did with the fondness of, like the memories that we're talking about and discussing from like, from the 80s, the 90s and the early 2000s? Like, it's crazy to think about, because the talent pool, I hate to say this, I maybe I'll catch some flack, but I don't know if it's ever really been like this good, as far as like, man, just there's a lot of really good workers out there, gimmick wise.
A lot.
Maybe, there's still a lot. I don't think anything will ever compare really to like the 80s and the characters and how over they were, even if you were some Southern boys just wrestling, like
Bushwhackers.
Yeah, the sheep herders, dude. Fucking talk about some deathmatch shit. Whoa! I got licked by one in Vapo when I was a kid. I thought it was the greatest shit ever. Don't make that face threaten. I'll lick you in inappropriate places.
Try it.
Right.
He's ready for it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, this whole era is just so exciting. And speaking of excitement and all that, weren't you just at the United Center?
Yeah. That
whole CM Punk thing. I know everybody's fucking played that shit out and talked about it, but dude, brother,
I'm not tired of it.
We gotta fucking do it, because we gotta do it our own way. We gotta get wet in our own personal way. Let me know how that was, because I know me and Bodie both, like, man, I've said it. I think I said it to you at Warrior. Like, I felt like I was on drugs or something, because the endorphins, the adrenaline was coming out. And I'm not a huge CM Punk guy, but what that meant to professional wrestling, the needle being shifted, and it meant, and I told this to Kylie and Thunder at Warrior, what it really touched me, because I felt like it meant so much to the boys and girls in the fucking business going forward. Like I say, the needle moving, that now this solidifies that you do not have to go and work for a place that's going to keep you there when you're fucking not in a good mental state or a physical state, and just grind and be this massive corporate bullshit. Now we have a place that is huge and is a corporate to an extent, yes, but they take care of the talent. You know, AEW seems to fucking be there for the talent, which is awesome. What was it like in that building? Because we all aren't watching at home on TV, heard that thunderous roar. Bodie keeps telling me it's replacing the Road Warrior pop, and I want to paintbrush him for saying that.
Because I know it pisses you off.
It does, man. It fucking does. Dude, the Road Warriors were my shit. And it's called the Road Warrior pop for a reason, because if Punk gets that same pop everywhere he goes, then maybe I'll give that to you. But that's to be seen. But Perch, what was it fucking like in that building, man, in person?
Yeah, what you're touching on just before, what's the age that we're in? Where are we at? And where are we going in the next, 5-10 years? Whether it's a reflection on the world as a whole, because the wrestling world is a small world,
right.
But it's much a reflective of the world outside, just a lot more condensed, compact, and combustible. But as far as it goes, we've been experiencing such peaks and valleys really over the past forever. But if you break it down over the past even 5 years in particular, some amazing peaks, and some absolute, horrendous valleys that we've been in. But, you take it as a collective and you take the sums of it and realize, we're on the dawning of a good age. Age of Aquarius is coming for real.
This is the dawning of the... Kick it with me, guys.
Aquarius. Age of Aquarius.
Sren, you shut up. You didn't join us. We're trying to get a barbershop quartet going, and you fucking
we
failed.
will.
Blame him.
It's the start of something great, though, and not that it's a start, but it's a rumbling. It's a groundswell. Knowing that, CM Punk's been gone for 7 years, and every time there's been a CM Punk chant from then till now has been empty. It was always empty. It was never met outside of a Phil Brooks sighting at some point, and it wasn't well received. I wouldn't imagine. So it was gone for so long, mixed with the wrestling world, the way it's been brewing, whether it's, too much of one company. Now we want to, find another company, or, you turn so many people away and then you bring in more people, companies being used to make other ones even bigger, to build up the fanhood that we have right now. So, to get the fans that we have right now in professional wrestling, with the, Ring of Honor doing their part, All Elite Wrestling coming off of Ring of Honor and doing their part, Impact Wrestling spawning off of TNA and kind of closing the book on that chapter that they had for so long and starting new, the NWA starting up again and doing their big business. The whole world of professional wrestling right now, and New Japan and every other company overseas is doing so well. You bring in a moment where everyone is ready for something big, and not only big, but something from the past, something from 5, 6, 7 years ago. It was such a balloon ready to burst. And there was such a good environment created with All Elite Wrestling starting, taking the best ideas from every company, wanting a good home for pro wrestling, a good home for fans to enjoy pro wrestling, and a good spot where the boys can go and do their best art. None better than a John Moxley. Is there a better wrestler in the world than seeing John Moxley right now? Main event, a match. So this environment that they've created was just perfect. That when Darby Allin the other week said that line, saying, "You may think you're good, but are you the best in the world?" Right then and there, I mean, everyone, anyone who even said, a glimpse of CM Punk's never coming back or something, sparked right back up to that conversation. And I'm not one who likes to ruin surprises. I don't read any dirt sheets, and I don't speculate. I take things as they come. I took that little line that Darby said, and that's all I took. And I got my ass down to Chicago for that Friday on a thought or possibility of, if something does happen, this is going to be the most, amazing feeling that I've gotten as a fan or a worker or a referee, or just a professional wrestling fan at the bottom of it all. Not being old enough to drive myself to see Stone Cold coming out, not being around when the Road Warriors were around. The sake of this balloon may burst and we may see CM Punk come out here in Chicago. And wow, that show started, they got ready, and it was a brief pause, maybe 10-second pause to allow that crowd to just start roaring. The fist was up, CM Punk, CM Punk. And it was a fever pitch that the crowd got to. And right then you hear the
Yeah.
Look in my eyes.
Oh, and you
Oh
could
yeah, dude.
feel everyone just unload the moments of whether it was pent up or it was, anxiety over the past year or feeling locked down, feeling, like the world may not be back to normal again, feeling lost childhood, whether you're a fan of CM Punk and realizing he's never going to be back again, or, you lost those memories. We're not going to get to enjoy it again, mixed with the world that we have right now. Seeing him come out, and I'll never believe it until I actually see him. Same with The Undertaker. Entrance can go on for 5 minutes, but until I see that first glimpse of him, then I'll buy it. And
Right.
in the moment of, oh my God, that's him. This is it. This is real. The crowd is roaring, and it's all true right now. There was no more, I guess, true or free feeling in the world than for that, 20 minutes of that crowd just bellowing and roaring.
Oh my God.
To feel that passion, to feel that energy, to be tapped into that kind of a pulse going on, out of this world, of this world.
That was one of the most pure moments I have ever seen, like pure wrestling moments ever.
Wrestling in recent history.
Yeah, in recent history. And the fact that I was telling these guys this, I was like, before he comes out, like it's just erupts when his music starts playing. And I tell everyone, like, you don't think they can get any louder, that crowd. He walks out and the crowd got louder. I don't know how that was possible.
Even louder. Like I said, there was a
Insane.
fever pitch, and it got even louder.
Exactly.
Guinness World Records, I think, commented on the clip from AEW's YouTube of that, and they're like, loudest wrestling pop ever.
Wow. Maybe.
I mean, it was deafening over the music,
Yeah. Couldn't even hear the music.
Yeah, that was cool, and having an appreciation for Living Color, that band, and
and the Bulls,
love it.
dude, the '90s Bulls, they did so much, and Punk did so much shit. And there was a lot of little Easter eggs during that whole thing. As far as like Punk doing the "I'm back," he did the whole Jordan thing, dude, and even on the shirts, and they sent out the little feelers, afterwards, the official statements, and then you had guys like Matt Jackson, who were dressing up like in the same gimmick that Jordan was wearing back in the day. And I'm like, this is so fucking great, dude. This is fucking real. I mean, dude, we're Chicagoland kids. We fucking grew up with those, Bulls championships and shit. So we know firsthand like how special that was. And to have another moment like that where it's almost equates to the same thing where Jordan's saying, I'm back at CM Punk, it's like, it's the city of Chicago. The heartbeat is there, dude. Like, it's insane, dude. It's fucking insane as a fan. And like I said, man, to reiterate, I'm not a huge CM Punk guy. I enjoyed his work. Yes, there's some stuff I don't fucking like about him, but what he did and what they did collectively, AEW, was super special. It gave me that moment of Hogan turning heel, going NWO, like something you never thought you would see. Such a special moment that, like, Brock Lesnar comes back or Becky comes back at SummerSlam, whatever, like this was, it hit all the right feels, dude. When you see a guy crying,
Oh yeah,
fucking in the audience, it's like, man, like I said, I'm not a huge CM Punk guy, but dude, I wanted to fucking cry because it
I was
meant
tearing up.
so much as a moment. And as wrestling fans, we haven't had moments like that are so huge in so long. That's why I'm saying this is like, dude, it's the needle pusher. It's the fucking rocket to the next era that we've already kind of steadily been on this roller coaster with the creation of AEW, with the popularity of the Bullet Club and the Bucks and the Elite and all them kind of bringing in the jaded outside fans, making wrestling cool again. Like, this is, wow, dude, what a fucking special moment.
They created that environment and, played it up with the greatest, setting up the kindling wood and then lighting fire to it.
They threw fucking all kinds of gasoline on that motherfucker.
Yeah, kerosene, gas, tanker trucks. Yeah.
Yeah, and
diesel fuel.
That moment for everyone to feel that emotion. There's one guy who's making that and the work that he's done to that point, but there's 15,000 people who are feeling that emotion. That's what gives me that high, That's
Dude.
Feeling that sea of people feeling that emotion. If you can bottle it. If you can only bottle it.
And the great thing is it's going to carry over because now we have that moment. Now we get moved to the next one on Wednesdays. We get to see Punk on Dynamite now and Rampage, going forward. And you pretty much said whatever they want me to do, I'm going to do it, which is super cool, man. I don't know of a more recent time where I mean, there's been a lot of like fever swells or whatever you call them, but like this is, it makes, I'm almost speechless because like, something really fucking special just happened and it's going to trickle down and affect everything from the independents onto the, the other guys at the E that are looking to get out because it's fucking toxic. But, bro, I fucking love it. Hey, and as we wind down right here, Mr. Perch, where can people find you at if they want to interact with you on social media? What do you have coming up that you're going to be at and all that good stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me at Perch XLV on Instagram and Twitter. I'm new to social media since I started wrestling. So any tips, any tricks, I'll take it. Facebook, Dan Perch. Pound sign for the Ref brand. And pound sign Celebrate Pro Wrestling. A couple of those I don't know what they're necessarily used for, but I like to put them on things to let people know my love and admiration for the job that we do and the work that we put in, and the fans who enjoy it. You can catch footage on AAW Alive on Wednesday nights at 9-10 Eastern on Twitch, and you can catch Freelance Underground on Tuesdays at 8-9 Eastern on IWTV. Plenty of action on Fight TV, AAW pay-per-views once a month, if not more. We've got awesome lineup coming up. This is an awesome week because this weekend, AAW on Thursday, we got some Freelance on Friday, and GCW is in town. Catch all that action on Fight TV. You can see Perch throughout the entire weekend, as well as many other good homies. And then All Out through the weekend will be another celebration to kind of bookend everything. So, we'll see how that goes. And if anything, I'll at least be there in the building to feel that energy again.
Yeah.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? I love that Michael Jackson video. I don't care what anybody else thinks.
I love that song. I don't care what anyone else
Fucking
says.
coming up, dude. Some good shit. Mr. Dan Perch, brother, I fucking love you. I love your personality. I love your character. I love everything that you're doing. I wish you nothing but the best. We'll catch up in person and reconvene very fucking soon, brother. So, hey, for Sweating the Motherfucking Savage, Bruiser Motherfucking Bodie, and the Juice himself, which is myself, and our very special guest, Dan Perch. This is the Juice saying, hey, we love you all. If you fucking like what you heard, if you like what you're watching, hit like and subscribe on YouTube. Leave us a rating and review on any podcasting platform and interact with us on all social media because we're everywhere, even TikTok. fucking get TikTok, but whatever, we're there. You know, got to paint the town red. Until next time, wet 'em up, wet 'em up, wet 'em up, wet 'em up. Forward for that person fucking insane. We'll catch you next time. I love ya.
Where'd he go?
You gonna do sex to me? Did you like that video? If so, be sure to hit like and subscribe and check out more killer content from your boys at Juice Pro Wrestling. Whoa, yeah!